Alright, so this is Balancing Chemical Equations by Carter Harris. So you can see here we're talking about what even is a chemical reaction. Well, a chemical reaction is when two chemicals come together and they react to each other based on their properties. For example, when you make a baking soda volcano, that is a chemical reaction. Let's take a look at a chemical reaction. We have CO2 plus H2O becomes oxygen plus what this whole molecule is glucose. That is the equation for photosynthesis, actually. The law of conservation of mass goes into all reactions. In a reaction, the total matter that is in a reaction is never lost. It is just transformed into other molecules. Therefore, the mass of the products are always the same as the mass of the reactants. We have the conservation of the atoms also. Atoms do not change, they only rearrange themselves. So the type of elements that are in the reactants will be the same in the products. So let's say we have 5 total atoms in the reactants, there will always be 5 total atoms in the products. So what do we do when the atoms are in the same equation? Let's take a look at an equation. We have NaOH plus CO2 becomes Na2CO3 plus H2O. There's a different number of sodiums. There's 2 in the products and only 1 in the reactants. So we have to do something to change that. So we must put a coefficient in front of the original NaOH, putting a 2 in front of the Na on one side of the equation. Here is the total balanced equation. The 2 right here, that way there's 2's, NA's on both sides of the equations, which just ends up balancing out the total equation. Now let's do one together. We have H2 plus O2 is H2O. If we write it out, we have the amount of hydrogens on the left. We have 2. Oxygen, we also have 2. On the right side, hydrogen, 2. Oxygen, only 1. That cannot be right according to our law of conservation of atoms because there's different amount of atoms. So we have to do something to make this equal. So we need to double this to get this to 2. So we put a 2 on this side. We now, though, have made this into 4 total hydrogen atoms and 2 oxygen atoms. So now we need to even out this side. So how do we get this 2 to equal to 4? We put a 2 in front of the H2, which now makes this into 4 total atoms. Now we have a balanced equation. So review, we went over the law of conservation of matter, the conservation of atoms, number of products and reactants, and how to balance a chemical equation.